Where cometh the F fame without money?
I see you did a due diligence. Right. Larry. All right. I think it was part of my motto, as a matter of fact. I keep saying we need money.
Okay.
You see, you have to decide if you want money or fame.
Okay.
I want money because I have responsibilities.
Okay.
I'm coming from a background where if I don't have money, I won't be respected.
Okay.
And I'm also coming from a background where it's quite challenging. And that was why most of the times I was avoiding coming on the screen with those, my colleagues and friends.
Right.
So I no, I think I should just define myself well before. And I've always had that in my mind, like, yo, before I could put my face out there, I want to make sure I have a car, make sure I have a house of my own. That was where this folk thing without money.
Yeah.
Because most people wants to be famous. You can be very famous. And another thing that is scary about it is that when I look down the lineups or the list of famous people who made it in life, it gets scary. I look at Michael Jackson, look at Whitney Houston, oh my God. And look at Teddy Bonchaka. Look at Castro. Look at even within us. Let's not go to Bob Marley and all the rest of them. It's became like, oh God, I hope it's not what is really meant. Then I tried to look at the list of those who were famous and still alive, who are still up to date. You see that there are few. That's where the whole thing came about. Yeah.
So you would advise whoever wants to be famous to have money before fame?
No. You have to define if you're going in for business or fame.
Okay.
You know, when you want fame, you end up doing so many things that are not necessary.
Okay.
You see yourself, it will affect your reputation, your social status. It will affect all that. But when you have in mind that I'm stepping out from my house today and wherever I'm going, I want to make money. Whatever it is, no matter how little, it makes a difference than you wanting to be part of everything. At the end of the day, you're nowhere.
Right.
That's what it's all about.
Right. Is the movie industry inside the Republic of Ghana dead?
Wow, that's another big question. It's not dead. It's not dead. But I guess there are some few setbacks here and there. You know, the Bible said a man is bound to fall 7 times and rise 7 times.
Right.
And I guess the Ghana movie is suffering from either the 3rd or the 4th fall. And I'm sure they will rise back. We are rising. I think you saw the latest movie, Taste of Sin, directed by, produced by Samira Yakubu.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. I'm part of it too. And I played some couple of scenes there with Majid, James Gardner, one of my best actors right now. Reverend himself. No, that's Duncan Williams himself. Daddy, yes, he's on it. And then some other Americans. It's just a wonderful movie.
Yeah.
I watched it. I was amazed myself. So it's not like it's dead. I think we are rebranding everything. I think that should be the better word because we had few lapses back in the days, and I found myself also in the middle. You know, when you know, I think I should just be straight to the point here. When you go to Atlanta, they don't say because you're from Washington, for that reason, then you have residence permit to come and stay in Atlanta. Or you want to go and stay in maybe Maryland. You don't need that. Then we're here in Africa. They've always seen us as Africans. But to be very frank with you, it's very expensive to live in Ghana. I'm not talking about the economy. I'm not part of those. I'm talking about what is required for you to stay in Ghana, like residence permit. It's very expensive. When we started, they said, oh, before you can, if you're a Nigerian, for a foreigner, let's use the word in quote, for a foreigner, and you want to establish a business here in Ghana, you have to pay 300,000. I remember I was on one show with Councillor Lutras. We argued over it. I said, yo, have you seen $300,000 before? How can you tell boys on the street selling phone batteries and accessories to pay 300,000 before they can run? It's not nice. It doesn't make sense. Then suddenly I heard it's now 1 million, and it wasn't really okay. That was where the whole problem started. Then at the Opera Square, they started closing shops. They say, no, if you don't have the 300,000, but I had a shop there, you know. So, but they didn't close mine. Perhaps they also have some sort of recognition that, and they felt, I was also honored. I felt, oh, okay, since they didn't close mine, I don't have to, let me just shut up. Then I tried to revive the business, and I called who was then the chairman of Nigerian Actors Guild, NSOB, who we grew up together. You know, I called him, I told him what was going on. He flew down, we had a meeting with the Opera Square with the presence of Abdul Salam and all the rest of them.
Right.
So we agreed that, okay, those things are not applicable to those selling movies and all that. Mm-hmm. Then we even signed a contract to that effect, and then they left. Mm-hmm. After they left, it was not up to 3 months. They came back with the same thing. Then those boys that were bringing CDs from Nigeria and taking Ghana movies to Nigeria, they were nowhere to be found again. They left. That was where the whole thing started. So I tried to talk about it, like, yo, come on. We are killing the industry. Why don't you wake up and do something? Before we know it, CD now is out of the picture. We're not part of that new page where you go on the net, you want to watch a movie, you go to one particular site, you want to go and watch it. If we had kept to that promise, I'm sure we would have been part of that revolution. Right. But we were not part of it. Before we wake up, they've left us already. Nigerians have gone far. Right. That was what really happened. Right. Then it didn't mean that the movie industry was down. It didn't mean that we lacked talent. It didn't mean that we lacked producers and investors. It only lacked sales. Even till now, we are still having that same problem. Okay. When we produce movies, it's very difficult to sell it. Okay. It's very, very difficult to sell any movie, even to DSTV and all the rest of them. It's very difficult because of same problems. So, yeah.
Why everybody, I've had a whole lot of actors and actresses over here. When we're talking about sales, they look at DSTV. But for the average Ghanaian or the average person who's watching, maybe the person can afford the monthly subscription payment for those ones. Why don't you look at, for instance, the FTAs, free-to-air televisions like CTV, bringing your material or your stuff over here so that we help showcase what you have?
Thanks for that question again.
Right.
So let me ask you, are you trying to say that they should bring it to free on air?
No, I'm saying, you could go to this FTA, you could come to CTV, meet our bosses, strike deals with them, then they'll see which times to show your movies. It's not everybody who can pay the monthly subscription. Okay. But once they on and they have prepaid, they on their television, says it's on CTV, they're just watching it.
That's true. You know, I bite your idea, but let me answer you. Let me be direct as well. Okay. What matters is money. Money. It costs you money to produce a movie. Right. If you want to produce a standard movie in Ghana now, you spend nothing less than $10,000. Wow. Nothing less than $10,000. Looking at the equipment standard, we shoot on 4K. Before you can have a quality movie that can be shown out there, I mean, a lot of money. You have to shoot on. The list is 4K. We shoot 6K. Like this Chronicle of Dombochi, 6K, because we realized that the quality is what was one of the problems we're having, and we decided to go on the real quality. Let's shoot whatever it is. Let's spend time. But you spend all that, and some of the TV stations, I don't mean to defame anybody at all. They are not encouraging. They are not. You see, bring the movie one stars in Ghana. How can you spend $10,000? Somebody's mentioning 1,000 Ghana. So you should look for where you get the money. Okay. So DSTV can give you block. Can give you $4,000 or $5,000 for a movie, and after 1 year you sell again. After the other year, so it depends. So if you have quality movie, you can sell it for 5 years. Okay, that's the problem. Okay. It's not like we can't bring it. So we can imagine this latest movie we did last few months. We released A Taste of Sin. So we had to go to the cinema hall to be able to generate income, and of course it paid well. It was okay. But you see, after the cinema and everything, you see now that we can now decide to sell to other stations. Okay. But let's say our stations, or for instance, the Actors Guild of Ghana now decides to talk to the TV stations and tell them, oh, you know what? Any movie that is produced, we probably class it first class, second class, third class movie. And third class movie could be artists with 2 actors, popular actors like maybe Majid or Jackie, or the first class should contain like 6 crowd-pulling artists, like you name them. Yeah. In this case, we've classed it. And then they can encourage them to buy. They support the producers. It's difficult, but you see, they prefer to take the Kumkum Baja and all the rest of them and translate it, and it hurts the producers here because we have indigenous stories. We have movies that can change life, and I can help talk about our societal ills. But they will prefer to buy, and that one not be for free. They'll still go, they will pay a lot of money and get it, and still pay money to translate peso by that's in every comment you translate it. It's quite so that money. Why don't you put it together and encourage the producers?